Hi, welcome to this live stream on the full moon eclipse that's coming right up. And this is going to herald in some very powerful changes in our lives as well as the world around us. So in this live stream, we'll talk about 5 things that we need to know. We've got some spiritual exercises appropriate for these energies. I've got some divination cards at the end to get direct messages from spirit through. And this is going to affect everybody differently. If you know your own astrology, and you understand that, I'm going to start out talking a little bit about the astrology and numerology around this full moon that is an eclipse. It's in Virgo. So, yeah. How's everybody doing? how are we? A lot of comments, and I see. So I see you guys have been busy. I know I'm a minute or two late, but while we're waiting for a couple more of the live people to get their notification, I'll just say a few quick hellos. I'm going to dive right on into this. I've got everything in my notes. That's why the glasses are on. This is big time energy we are in, everybody. And this full moon, this may be the most, or one of the 3 most powerful full moons of the whole year. It's bringing a lot of changes. We're already seeing change. I'm feeling the energies of this eclipse already. It hasn't been the easiest day, I'll put it that way. And eclipse energy is not always easy, but it exposes shadows. That's what eclipses are. They're the interplays of shadows and light, and they intensify the energies. I'll dive more into that. So anyway, hello, Mr. Floyd, aka Josh, welcome, and Yota, and Helen, and Marguerite, welcome, and hi, Chris, and hello, Jen, and Katie, and Laura, and Star, welcome, hi, Millie, hey, Brooke. Yeah, right. And anybody that I missed, hi. I don't want to spend too long on this. Hello from Toronto, Canada. Canada's still our friends. Canada's still my friend. I love Canada. I just have to put that out there. No divide and conquer around here. And hello from California. All right. Yeah, if you're new and you want to say where you are from, thank you. Right on time. Thank you, Marguerite. Yeah. No Jared Fire Homo due to the so he doesn't do the homas during eclipses. I think it was Yogi Bhajan, but one of the that bought Kundalini Yoga in, but I think it was him that said you shouldn't look at the eclipse. You should be inside. I've heard that from other. I go out and I look at the eclipses anyway. Maybe that might explain a few things. Hello down under. Hello Sue. Welcome, welcome. And Belgium, nice. So we've got a nice international following with us today, basically, and we are one world. As the powers that be want to continue to divide us and conquer us and all that stuff, it's up to us to come together as a world community in events like this. And there's a lot of spiritual teachers and people that are just doing their day-to-day job that are very open and very, very much wanting to promote more world community, more unity. So in that note, I think most of the live people are on. I'll start out with a little astrology. Hello, New Jersey. I'm in the Catskills, so we're neighbors. Very good. 7:07. That's the time, I guess. Although it says 7:08 on the chat, and there's 40 people on. That's usually what we get for the live stream. More people watch these as a video, anyway. So it's a full moon. It's an eclipse. Most of you know, but it may be worth mentioning to some that don't know that eclipses can only happen on the full moon. So a lunar eclipse is an exact sun-moon opposition. And when the moon and the sun come into the approximate degrees of the north and south nodes of the moon, that's when the eclipse season happens. So we'll have a solar eclipse in a couple of weeks also. That's going to be a doozy too. But in any event, it's unless you're on the West Coast. So if you're on the West Coast, technically the eclipse is on March the 13th at 11:59 p.m. Here on the East Coast, it's 2:50. I wrote p.m. in my note. I think it's 2:59 a.m. though, right? Now I better double check that. I think it's 2:59 a.m. But I wrote in my notes 2:59 p.m. And if that's the case, then it's the same all over. Where are we? March. We have the Llewellyn calendar. 2:59. Oh no. 2:55 a.m. 2:55 a.m. is the official time. Okay. So it's 5 to midnight on the West Coast. So that's the 14th. That's a universal number 8 day. I'll explain why that's important in a second. So that's when the peak of the eclipse happens. It's a total eclipse. We'll see it here. If anybody's awake at that time and it's clear enough, you'll get to see that smoky blood moon. So that's always a nice sight. So the full moon is also at, did I even write the degrees down? Gosh, think about preparing my notes. Well, I know it's at 23 degrees of Pisces. No, the sun's at 23 degrees Pisces. The moon's going to be at 23 degrees Virgo. So the degrees as well as the sign is important, and an eclipse intensifies the energy. So you get the sun and the moon right together like that. It has just almost a a minute fractional increase in the magnetic force it exerts on the earth, but that minuteness is everything, and it really activates the energetic fields more than the physical, if that makes sense. Um, Oh, okay. Well, thanks for. I'm looking at your comments. Yeah, that's why we're a global community. We have to be aware of the politics. I do talk about that on the channel in my live streams, but we want to rise above that, right? All that control energy. All right. Being that I didn't write it in my notes, but it's 23 degrees of Virgos where the full moon is. 23 is 5. 2 and 3 is 5. 5 is Mercury ruled. Virgo's Mercury ruled. A lot of Virgo, a lot of Mercury energy with this. There's also a lot of Saturn energy. Now, other things that are going on here is the full moon's going to be trining Uranus. Uranus is evolution, revolution, surprises, higher mind, conscious community. But when Uranus is involved, there can be revolutionary type of energy in the air, and we know that that's going on already. This will only strengthen it and exacerbate it, but it's a trine, it's a favorable aspect, and as it trines the moon, it's sextiling the sun, so it's in a nice aspect. Basically, I didn't write the degree. No, it's 22 degrees of Pisces. Uranus is 22 degrees. And the no, not Pisces. Oh my God, I'm getting everything confused. Uranus is where in Taurus, is it? Excuse me. I'm supposed to write all this stuff down, but anyway, I do know that it's trining. And it's right around. It's almost an exact trine, so it's right around 23, 24 degrees of Taurus presently. So the Mercury stations also, isn't that fun? We're going to be starting a Mercury retrograde within 24 hours of the full moon eclipse. So it's stationing at 9 degrees of Pisces. 9 degrees is endings, completions. Pisces is the last sign. That plays into the energy of this full moon eclipse also. And it's going to activate the subconscious. It's going to enhance spirituality. So we have all that working with this eclipse. Moon opposes Saturn. It's Saturn that's at 22 degrees of Pisces. The moon will be at 23 degrees of Virgo, which means it's conjunct the sun just by 1 degree. So it's almost an exact conjunction. So it's heavy Pisces energy. Lots of lessons, lots of karma, structures in our society fall. That's been happening. It's going to get another wrecking ball on the facades of this world that we once knew, that were built on the weak foundation of corruption, greed, power, and all that stuff. So we can rebuild on the strong foundation of compassion and community, right? And 22, that number in numerology is a master number. It's the master builder, basically. So what are we going to build in our lives? We're going to get a nice boost from the universe, because the energies of the planets, the way they move around, they're letting us know what's going on with the energetic flows that affect us in the universe. I don't think the planets cause them. I think it's an effect of it, to be quite honest. But either way, it's letting us know through how the planets move, the sun, the moon, how the numbers move, because everything in the universe is numbered. It's giving us a nice roadmap. And if we know how to read that, then we can swim with the tide, and we can understand the energies, plan our lives better because of that, and and help society grow and all that stuff. But lots of heavy Pisces energy, so lots of that. Now, universal number 8 day. 8 is Saturn energy, also in numerology. And it's also in Pisces. So again, it's a tear down of the facades, the government, society. Saturn opposes the moon. It's 17, and it's a 17 universal day, reduces 8. 1 and 7 is 8. 17 brings a very optimistic and hopeful vibe to that 8 energy. So that's actually a good thing. It's the star card in the tarot, and its symbol is the star in Chaldean numerology. So it's all good. So what else? Moon opposes that later in the day. Sun is in a weak conjunction. Yeah. So Neptune's a little bit farther along in the sign Pisces. I think it's around 28 or 29 degrees. So right at the eclipse, it's not opposing. So it's a weak opposition. But anyway, Neptune is about illusions as well as intuition, dreams. It's the planet that rules Pisces. So that's important also. Anyway, there's a little bit of background. What are we doing? Internet was out earlier. I'm just peeking your comments. Oh, happy birthday, 312. Yeah. Hello from blustery Oregon. Yeah, there's a lot of rain on the West Coast now. Hello, Suzette. Welcome. All right, so there's actually 6 things, but 3 of them are kind of related. And I left the titles, the 5 things we need to know. But there's actually 6 things. The first one is this full moon is going to activate the spirit world, and the energy happens before the actual eclipse. It leads up. It really starts to build on the 11th day of the moon, which was several days ago, but it peaks on the eclipse, and it's going to carry through the whole lunar cycle. So some of the qualities that are showing up around that is, well, firstly, when I was preparing my notes, I had a vision of cardinals, and cardinals to so many people mean communication from those that have crossed over. So they've shown me red birds, but I believe they were cardinals. But in any event, the our winged feathered friends, they represent messages from spirit also. So vision of cardinals, there's a lot of heavy duty Pisces energies I explained before. Pisces is of the subconscious, is the final sign. It's very intuitive. It's very much connected to spiritual energies. Those that have crossed over. So you may get a lot of visits. A lot of people have been dying also, including my kid brother died. My other brother died a while ago. And good friend of mine died very recently. A lot of people are leaving the world now. It really started, even a little before COVID. So a lot of these souls are going to the spirit world and are going to help us, those of us that are stuck here and have to deal with all this. Well, our loved ones that are passing over, it's very sad. I'm still in some grief about it. So it's very, very sad. But at the same time, they're moving on to help us. But we have to deal with all this, right? So anyway, heavy duty Pisces energy. Eclipse has always intensified the energies anyway. So we have an eclipse. The moon of Mercury ruled. The moon that Mercury ruled 23 degrees Mercury station. That's a sign of communication also. But I think the main thing was I got this vision, and maybe some of you are validating. Oh, thank you for your condolences. Appreciate it. And you saw Cardinal Millie. Nice. Yeah, on this live stream, because I want to get the information out in a timely manner. I'm not posting all your comments like I do on Tarot Time. But if you guys, especially the newer ones, if you want more of a community experience, every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, now Eastern Daylight Time, we do an hour plus of tarot time where we do some tarot work to pick up on the energies of the week ahead. But that's where we have a conversation. I'll post people's comments. We'll kick our ideas around and connect more as a community. This Sunday, I'll announce it, but I may do a prayer and transmission this Sunday also, maybe after tarot time. That's because some of you saw the recent upload that I did. It's just an 8-minute upload about really some challenging events that are coming up in the world, some very, very, very challenging energies. Everything's changing. So I figured let's do some prayer work and feed some positivity in the collective so that we don't have to suffer so much, basically. But anyway, yeah, I did 2 live streams. One's about the Donald Trump presidency, one's about other stuff, but it relates to visions that I had, events in the world. I mean, just to give it to you quickly, and I'll talk more about this. We're going to do the seasonal psychic forecast next Thursday. That'll be an upload. We're going to do the April, very important psychic forecast for April near the end of the month. So I've done about 3 or 4 live streams about April. I think that's the center of all the shifts. Basically, they just showed a period where nothing was moving, and it could be symbolic, but there could literally be some like regional blackouts or something going on in the world where people just have to stay in place for a time. I've seen planes grounded, nobody really moving. Again, that could be solar flares, that could be cyber attacks. There's so many things that could cause an event like that, and hopefully by that time I'll find him anyway. If you want to get more details, you can find the live stream. So that's number 1, activate the spirit world. So it's a good time to do more prayers, light candles for your loved ones, open your heart. You may get psychic dreams where they come through, and you may just get spontaneous communication. You just feel like sense that they're around you, basically. So that's number 1. Thank you, Crystal Palace, and thank you, everybody. Yes. So number 2, the biggest energy upgrade yet. So that's the second thing that we need to know. A big surge, big spikes of energy around this full moon, this eclipse. Now, sometimes there's responses in nature, like we see more earthquakes, for example, more solar flares. So I think that that's all on the table also. This full moon, this eclipse is really creating a powerful portal that can benefit all of humanity. And because as a collective, we're traveling through this portal, and when we get to the other side of it, it's going to be like a whole new reality, even though it may not seem that different when we get there. So we've seen massive changes already. We're seeing more massive changes ahead. And again, this energy catalyzes these things. Yeah, and we saw the 7-planet alignment recently, and that to me, what my guides were saying is that helped open up a crack that in between the dimensions, so we can achieve more interdimensionality and more and maybe some of you have had like temporal displacement experiences or Mandela effects or things like that just kind of validate that the physical universe is not really physical, it's energetic, and it's a matrix of sorts, and sometimes there's glitches in that matrix, basically. Hi, Mary. Yeah, that should help. You may get, it may intensify for release, and we're going to talk about that in either point 3 or 4. Actually, the biggest energy shifts, environment, and opens up some new gifts, like new spiritual gifts, new energies, new DNA activations, all that kind of stuff. So it's good to be very quiet during this time. Do lots of meditation work, lots of cleansing, lots of water. It's a Pisces Virgo, even though Virgo is an earth sign, it's Pisces Virgo energy. It's very water in nature. And of course, Virgo is very healing. So, there's more for number 2. Cool. Will help us achieve higher conscious spiritual awakening. All right. So number 3 thing that we need to know is shadows are exposed personally in the world around us. Eclipses are about light and shadow. So I can say this for all eclipses. But let me dive into some of the special qualities of this one. Eclipse energy is all about shadows. Again, that heavy Pisces energy, that's the subconscious. Shadows hide in the subconscious. That's why they're shadows. They're hidden, basically. These can be our traumas, our dramas, things that we've suppressed, both individually and collectively. This is your cosmic opportunity to clear these old dense energies. And we've been talking about this on the channel for a while. Those of you that have been with us a while know that. Those of you that are new, well, we'll talk about it again because it's all relevant. But this is your cosmic energy to clear old dense energies. As these energies increase, both the frequency and magnitude are increasing. Frequency is just the wavelength. Higher frequencies, usually a more intense energy. higher magnitude obviously is more intense. And the thing is that you cannot ascend to higher frequencies because we are doing that collectively, or some of us anyways. You may never know it in the world around us, but you cannot ascend to higher frequencies if you're weighed down by old dense energies. So these shadows create these old dense energies because they're the traumas and dramas that get stuffed into our subconscious, because we are programmed, wired, whatever you want to call it, to suppress anything that's painful, unpleasant. And we pick that up at a very early age from our parents. And that's how shadows are born. We don't deal with things, we suppress them. We don't deal with things that are difficult and painful, as a general rule. Not everything and not everybody, but as a general rule. So so shadow work, because people don't do shadow work because it's uncomfortable. But let me tell you, if you want to evolve spiritually, you got to face discomfort. I just don't see any way around it, unless you have an impeccable karma, and then you don't really need to do work. You're already an enlightened being. I feel like my guards are saying, but even enlightened beings need to do their spiritual work. All right. Let's not get technical. Hi, Jessica. Hello, Laura. Welcome. Hello, Kelly, the mystic next door. Hi. Welcome. Anybody that I missed, it's just that I miss you. We're not playing favorites, just to be clear. All right. So, anyways, that's more on the shadows exposed in the world. More corruption being exposed. So far from where I'm sitting, it's been underwhelming with all the hype and all the promise. And I have to say, I was part of that hype. That all this corruption, all this stuff's getting exposed. I feel like spiritually patient. It's a process. I feel like my guides, the master teachers, are talking to me. I feel like saying, you can only handle so much, so it's not going to all happen at once. So don't think it's underwhelming. It's a process, basically. But anyway, the shadows in the world, that they can be reflections of our individual shadows. Our individual shadows can be reflected of the world. Before I go any further, let me back up. Shadows are not bad. They're not negative. They're just hidden. In a sense, once we integrate our shadows, they can become our great source of strength also. Part of the reason that we have shadows to suppress things is we have a moral compass that's really unreasonable, being that until we evolve to a certain level, we're still primitive beings that have primitive survival instincts. And in order to survive, we're going to violate our own moral compasses. And because we have the moral compasses, there's a tendency to try to suppress what we're doing so that we don't see it. And if we don't see it, out of sight, out of mind, right? So it becomes a shadow aspect. But anyway, but in the world, more corruption exposed. The facades on the world we once knew are crumbling. I use that expression a lot. It's the tower. The tower's falling, basically. So the tower has been built on a weak foundation of greed, corruption, power over others, all that kind of negativity. It's got to crumble because these higher frequencies can't support that old stuff. And once it crumbles, then we can rebuild on the strong foundation of compassion, love, community, power by the people, for the people. What a democracy is supposed to be, basically. So anyway, the zone world we once knew was crumbling as the dense energies of the collective control, greed, power, as well as the collective karma. All that starts to fall. Again, karma's not negative either. That's her teacher. That's her lessons. Little quick lesson about karma for those that don't understand this. We will take the opportunity to talk about it now. And I'll do this with a story, because I remember it's happened more than once. I remember a client just saying, my last 3 relationships, they've all been abusive, toxic men. I must have been a bad abuser in my past lifetime. So I looked at her and I said, no, that's not why. It's because you've been abused in other lifetimes and you're carrying that energy into this lifetime. It's a soul resonance. So when we imprint on the new body, when our soul imprints on a new physical body, there's sort of a lattice of energy we imprint on that body. And a lot of our life lessons are already there, basically. So karma can be about retribution if that's what we need to learn. but more often than not, it's patterns of repeating energy. But my guide told me, he said, but the buck stops here with this eclipse and then the solar eclipse. This is the time to stop that negative cycle and to take control over your lives and your destiny. And it starts by not accepting these negative patterns that have caused negative results in your life. Hopefully that makes sense. But the world around us needs to know that also. The governing forces, and I've said in other live streams that there's conscious plants in government, in high positions, and they may be starseeds, they may even be ascended masters. So the old system's being undone from within as well as from without. From what I've received, I can't prove that, and the more we raise our consciousness, the more we express love, compassion, gratitude, and those high vibrations, the more we positively affect the collective. So always come back to high vibes. I get frustrated and angry like any other human, but always come back to those high vibes and always do like high vibe work, because each and every one of us feeds the collective. And if enough people are doing that, we can avoid some of the calamities that have been prophesied by myself and others. Some of them's already been avoided. So we're doing a good job. So anyway, shadows exposed. So that's number 4. 3. Number 4, supernatural healing. I got the book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, so that word's on my mind a lot. So yes, exactly, Christine. Set healthy boundaries, right? That's important also. And right, Care Bear, it is exhausting, and it drains our energies, basically, and our shadows drain our energy. Like I said, once we integrate the shadows, they can become our greatest gift, because our shadows are tantamount to shamanic soul retrieval. They create soul lost parts, because usually there's a trauma or programming that's traumatic that does that. So very good points. I'd like to see all your comments, because you guys are just saying some amazing things. But anyway, supernatural healing. So I got visions of frog. So again, when I was pregnant, I got visions of frog. Frogs are about cleansing, right? It's a Native American symbol. Also, frogs are the dwellers of two worlds, right? They're equally at home in the water and on land. Water's emotions, healing. The land is the earth. It's our physical life, basically. So frog medicine is very, very powerful in the Native Americans. So I got the vision of frog. Divine feminine energy dwells in the world of water and earth. Frog is also symbolic of cleansing. Tears cleanse the soul. It's good to cry. It's good to weep. We'll say weep, because weep is you can use them interchangeably, but one of my early teachers said, weeping is just a natural response to things like grief, depression, sadness, where crying is more of a conditioned response. It's like if I don't get what I want, I'm going to cry till I get what I want. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, but we'll say crying or weeping, it helps to cleanse the soul, and tears cleanse the soul. Cleansing, clearing is the first step to healing. So that's part of supernatural healing. Cleansing, clears the first step to that and creating that. So this is like, again, 3, 4, and 5 all interconnect in some way, because this full moon, part of the exposing of the shadows based on the Mercury healing energy, which is also Archangel Raphael energy, and Mercury station, that's the planet of healing, and the moon's at 23. That's Mercury ruled. So when a planet's stationing, it's stronger. So all this points to really good healing energy. This is a good time around this full moon to do some meditation, to visualize that you're well. If you have something going on health-wise, use your consciousness, use energy to heal. Do that. It's a perfect time for it. But a lot of our health conditions are caused by unexposed shadows or hidden shadows, because when I'll put it this way, when we suppress things in the subconscious, they don't go away. They just go inside, and they vibrate with a certain frequency from within. And that frequency can be a frequency of ill health. That can be a frequency that attracts challenging and negative situations into your life. So when you do the shadow work and you integrate those shadows, you no longer not conscious of it. You shine the light of awareness on the shadow. Just like if I shine a flashlight on my shadow, the light takes the shadow away, right? It integrates back into the light. So this is very important for this full moon, for this all eclipses, but this one in particular, because there's such a Mercury vibe. The frequencies are so high anyways. The things are changing so much anyways. And we can't, and shadows have a dense energy. We can't take these old dense energy into new earth. We have to leave them behind in old earth. So really doing the shadow integration work, doing, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, because I think that's part of the fifth thing that we need to know. So anyway, but we get that, right? So also eclipse in Virgo, healing sign, Mercury's 23 degrees, and exposes shadows of poor health, subconscious blocks, robs you of your health. So I think we get that. So it's all help. But on the other side of that, the frequency of healing is very, very strong, and we can tap into that to help ourselves and to help others. So you energy healers out there, this is a good time to be working on yourself and your loved ones. You're right, Care Bear, learning to work with and not against. Excellent. Thank you, Sherry. I love my channel, and you guys are the medium channel. I mean, I started and I do the live stream, so I'm the face that everybody's seeing, but it's you guys, it's the community that really makes this channel great. Because if the community was not inspiring to me, I probably honestly would have given up a long time ago. YouTube is not easy. Those of you that have channels know that. But you guys, with all your amazing comments and inspiration, that's really what helps keep me going here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. All right, moving right along to page number 4. Also saw Archangel Raphael, which makes sense because Raphael's the healing angel. We'll as part of the spiritual practices, I'll talk more a little bit about that. Healing the heart, expanding through the heart-brain coherence, or related practices, heart breathing, yoga, all this stuff. But anything that's going to increase the frequencies of the heart-brain coherence is an amazing practice. All you do for that is you get very present, and you become so present for just the present moment that you're not a name, you're not a body, you're energy and frequency. And when you feel grateful, you activate the heart. When you feel compassionate, you activate the heart. Your heart becomes coherent, because after all, what's a coherent heart? Is a loving heart. An incoherent heart is a fearful heart, an angry heart. So these negative emotions are part of our survival makeup. They're not bad, but you want to always do things of higher vibrational, and gratitude to the master frequency. So when you find that in the heart, the brain, because the heart and the brain are really one, and the heart's stronger, the brain locks into vibrational coherence. And then when the heart and the brain are in coherence, they blend. And what does that mean? You become more open to spirit, and your natural healing abilities and superhuman healing abilities that some people tap into when there's a crisis, others tap into just naturally. But some people do the work to open up or awaken dormant DNA to open up higher healing abilities. Natural healing abilities are amazing. We can fight all pathogens. If we get a cut, we scab it, we heal it. So just our natural healing abilities are amazing. But imagine if you could use energy to heal things like cancer and MS. Pretty soon, you may not have to imagine that. I've never healed either of those conditions, but I have healed chronic, severe eczema through mind over matter and through opening these higher abilities. So anyways, so there is that. So Mercury, another thing, so working with the heart, this is going to open up those higher abilities. Mercury's also stationed, that's healing, that's power. And this will initiate miracle healing. So this energy is very conducive for more miracle healings, and DNA awakening for supernatural healing. And we're going to do a live stream soon to help along with that. But anyway, let me move along here. What? 24 karat gold? Wait, what? No, notice what I'm. I'm 24 Karen. Oh, that's me. Oh, thank you so much. So number 5 is endings and completions. Firstly, all full moons are great times for manifestation, because it's a full moon basically. But we have the sign Pisces, the sign of completion. We have something in, what was it, 9 degrees, but something with the number 9. God, I can't even remember. Anyway, Mercury stationed to retrograde at 9 degrees Aries. And 9 is completion. Pisces is a completion. So there's some excuse me. More water, please. Wow, you guys found me. 99 on the chat. Woohoo! Great stuff. And it's also, I love the number 99. I'm thinking about Get Smart. Of course, I was a teenager, a childhood teenager. What teenager didn't have a crush on Barbara Feldon, who played 99 in Get Smart? But anyway, I'm digressing, excuse me. But be that as it may, humor is very healing also. Laugh a lot. Sing. Yogi, going back to Yogi Bhajan, one of his quotes is that the most healing sound in the entire universe is the sound of your own voice singing and chanting. And I sing and chant all the time. And for 66, knock on wood, I'm pretty darn healthy. The spy phone, the cone of silence, the shoe phone. Oh my God. Buck Henry and not Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks. Two comedic geniuses. Made that show up basically. Anyway, Pisces energy is the last sign of the zodiac. Mercedes 9 is about completion. We go to about completion. So here's the 6th one. And dreaming is real, but I was just listening to Blondie the other day, and that's the lyric of one of their songs. Dreaming is real. So dreams are going to be very, very activated during this period. Sun, Mercury, Neptune, Saturn, all these planets are connected to this full moon. Pisces is the subconscious. Part of our shadow work is, as we dream, some parts of our subconscious start to come out in our dream time. Also, we can have visitation dreams. We can connect with spirit guides. We can maybe even be aware when we're in deep sleep of going into alternate realities and timelines. So we do that. We go back to spirit when we go into deep sleep. We hang out with our spirit loved ones. Hey, how you guys doing? We'll meet up soon. Life is short and all that stuff. So but all in Pisces. So we have Neptune, Saturn, North Node's in Pisces too. That's why we have an eclipse when the full and new moon align with the lunar nodes. That means the sun and the moon are in the same elliptical, and then they shadow each other. So a little technical knowledge, but anyway, journaling. So dream journaling is good. Practice conscious dreaming. Practice lucid dreaming. Call your loved ones in. Remember your dreams, and you may experience alternate realities as part of that. So anyhow, guys, still with me? Good. It's an adventure every night. Care Bear, very good. 99 balloons. Oh, we're down to 93. Oh, well. Yogiji would also tell you to go F yourself if you deserved it. Well, we have Nidhi Huba. She's every now and then she pops in. She's a local Woodstock lady, Kundalini yoga teacher, pretty much a master from where I'm sitting. And she lived with him on and off. I think she said for 10 years with Yogi Bhajan. So there's a few stories. Let's just say he was a brilliant channel and bought a lot of brilliant yoga technology, but not all channels are squeaky clean human beings. I'll just leave it at that. So that said, exercises. Do your spiritual work. It will save. I wrote this in all caps in my notes. It's like I got dramatic when I was doing my notes. Do your spiritual work. It will save you. Work with the heart and breath work. So breath is great. We're just going to get back to, when I said I was going to get back to something, the thought just came. Everything is toxic. Well, not everything, but we live in a toxic soup. And that includes energies and frequencies. Right now, where's my shungite? Darn it, I don't have my shungite. Anyway, right now I've got a computer in front of me. I'm using my cell phone as a webcam. So I've got two bits of technology all emitting radiation that are affecting my fields because we're electromagnetic beings. We are electromagnetic energy, just like Wi-Fi signals. But some electromagnetic energies will feed our energetic fields and help our bodies. Some will over time tear it down. Unfortunately, the technology is more the latter. But before anybody freaks out, our hearts are the largest electromagnetic generator in the body, more than the brain, more than anywhere. And if you work with the heart, you build the frequency of the heart, you build your electromagnetic fields, you become resistant to the negative EMFs. And you can augment that with breath work. Breath work will build your field. Go out into nature, go barefoot. All these things will bring you back into your normal electromagnetic, it will bring you back into more healthy electromagnetic. But the game changer is the heart, really learning to work with the heart. And heart brain coherence, for my money, is the practice to do. It's based on ancient traditions, yoga, all that kind of stuff, but there's now modern science to validate, empirical studies and everything. I won't go through the whole inventory of that, but I have a whole playlist on the Medium channel for heart brain coherence. I have another whole playlist on the Medium channel for shadow integration work. These are primary things to do. And we're going to do a meditation on Friday night. It's going to be 8 o'clock because I work till 7 on Fridays. And the eclipse will have come and gone by then, but we're still within 24 hours. So we're still in the full moon. And what we're going to do, because I work with the master teachers, it's frequency channeling. So I do a lot of direct energy work as well as chanting, toning, and some light language activation. So they work through me as I'm leading the meditation. They're able to work with your fields also. So we're going to go through a real huge energetic shift on and around this eclipse. So we're going to do this meditation to reset our energy fields to these higher frequencies so that we can assimilate and process the changes, assimilate the energies, and by doing that, our bodies, our nervous system, and our energetic fields, our auras, will shift into these higher energies and frequencies. So you can start to cultivate new and higher gifts and all that good stuff. And what else? Oh, another exercise. Work with Archangel Raphael. That's the healer. Raphael means heal, right? In who speaks Hebrew? I think Raphael is to heal or heal. And that's the healer angel. One way, and I learned this through doing meditations online with Steve Noble or Nobel, depending on how he pronounces his name. He spells it Noble. No, he spells it Nobel, but he might pronounce it Noble. It doesn't matter. Nobel if you're looking it up on YouTube. So the spirit symbol I learned from him that worked the first time I did it worked so well with me. I use all of his angel symbols that I know of. Is you visualize a seduceus, I can never pronounce that word, the medical symbol with a crystal wand with golden serpents around it and golden wings near the top, and visualize emerald green fires around that and call in Raphael. If you can visualize the symbol and the color of the flame, those are the energies that makes you more accessible to the energy of Archangel Raphael, and call them in and just work together to heal yourself or to heal others. You can say, Raphael, work with me to heal my chest or to heal my neck or my back. And you can call on him. You can also call on Raphael to do soul retrieval work to help to integrate and to heal the shadows also. Like I do that to go back to traumas in my life, and then we'll repattern the traumas. I have that exercise in my shadow integration. The one in the playlist, it's 5 shadow work exercises, and then I think I have that exercise in there also, and I think in 1 or 2 other live streams. It's all on the playlist, and so basically, so that's basically it. So let's do some divination cards to finish up. Steve Noble is British. Caduceus. Oh, Caduceus. Thank you. Yeah, he is British. Yes, Caduceus. Thank you for spelling that out for me. Yeah, he has a wonderful voice for guided meditations. Also, it his work's extraordinary. I I like to shout him out from time to time. Uh, the Caduceus, thank you. Or this, we have to do the moonology card because it's the full moon. So, what other energies? Well, let Spirit come in. I've got a few divination decks. This is the one. Okay, this is the one. This will be new moon in Scorpio. Well, that's a little bit different than the full moon in Virgo. Pretty much opposites, but all opposites are one and the same. Work through your fears. That's a good adjunctive message. Is that the right word? Because that's part of the shadow work. And embrace the fears. Again, working through my fears is firstly acknowledging that I have fears. Secondly, is not seeing them as a negative or a bad, but a necessary part of survival. And then making another choice, right? So there's different ways of working through fears, but reprogramming. I think Spirit saying, well, how did you work through your fears? How did you get on YouTube? Because you had a fear of camera, a fear of performance, blah, blah, blah. Oh, right. I made up some affirmations. I did a sleep program every night. That's how I'm comfortable talking on camera now. We can reprogram our mind. We don't have to be stuck in our fear patterns. We have tools to reprogram that. So that's the way to do it. So work through your fears. And another way of working through your fears is just freaking doing it, right? To have fears is human. To have courage is you acknowledge your fears and do what you need to do anyway, even if it's uncomfortable. So I just started doing videos, even though I sucked at it. That was another part of it as well. So anyway, swing trader Nathan. Wow, what? Okay. Oh, he's a Libra. Oh, I love a fellow Libra. He seemed like a Libran also. Just his energy seemed very Libran to me. All right, so next let's do our animal totem. I've got my Pisces peep because we're really working towards peace. We know the specter of world war. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but peace starts from within. Let's be at peace with ourselves. Well, you're not perfect, so what? Be at peace with that, right? I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do bad things and negative things. What do? I apologize. Not as an apologist, but just, all right, I effed up. I apologize. But I'm not going to have a lot of guilt or shame over it, because that's an even lower frequency than fear. But anyway, I think we get that. So, not in my universe either, Mr. Floyd. Not in my universe. I hear that. I thought you'd say Caribbean. It seems like not everybody likes the divination part. We've dropped from 90 plus to 80 on the chat. Oh well, I like it. and these are spirit messages for us. All right, so I'm just honing in. Okay, I need to clear my mind. I'm seeing a rabbit. We'll see if we get the rabbit. I mean, rabbit can symbolize fear also. But what I picked is a porcupine. Wow, same one as tarot time, right? Same animal. And I have used these cards since then. I have shuffled my cards since then. So porcupines are very innocent, very loving energy, but they have a secret weapon. So basically, just know that sometimes you do have to defend yourself in this world also. So, acknowledge your quills and use them when you need to. But a lot of this is about innocence of heart, trusting your heart and being in the heart vibration frequency. I believe porcupine sits at the south of the medicine wheel, which is the place of innocence and trust, if memory serves me. But those quills, when you need to defend yourselves, they can be fierce also. So that's good, So I think what they're trying to say through this is we're likely to encounter some adversity and negative people, basically. I mean, certainly people like myself that are on YouTube and I wouldn't say controversial information, but people that are deeply programmed are afraid of awakening, and their survival instincts kick in. it hijacks their emotions, and then basically they want to kill you. I mean, they wouldn't do it because of their moral compass, but that's basically the emotion that comes up, so that they'll try to block you in any way they can, usually through trying to manipulate your emotions. But anyway, that's a whole other story. I love porcupines too. Yeah, they are very beautiful and lovely. So a couple more things to do. Let's do our frequency of this full moon. So let's see what else Spirit has to say through the sacred geometry cards. My ears are buzzing. If Spirit is very active, well, Spirit's very active in this eclipse. That's why, connecting to spirits, it could be our loved ones, our guides, the ascended masters and angels are all part of our spiritual team. Here we go. This is the frequency that no, they're not letting me pull the card out, so I think that's a no. All right. I just have to clear my mind a little better. I don't know why I'm seeing summer in my mind. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Here we go. Finally. Synergy. We haven't gotten this one for a while, but this is a cool card. Synergy. No, that's different than entropy. Way different than entropy. Well, out of entropy can come synergy, right? Out of chaos comes order. But then anyway, the frequency, I have to turn to the side so I can see this. The frequency of synergy supports our allowances and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting, I'm sorry, it's hard to read these tiny print, even with the glasses. Existing co-creations can give birth to a new reality. So I think part of the message for us is we're going to be creating connections. Part of this new moon energy is going to align us more with like-minded people, maybe partners, whether that's romantic, work, or just best friends or collaborators. I think we're going to see a lot of collaborating, a lot of collaborators. But there's also that synergy between our higher selves, our spiritual selves. And they show me like the image of a like an infinity sign with kind of like the cross at the heart, and the one side, like it's an upside or right side up infinity sign with the one circle at the head, the other circle at the root, and the heart is in the middle. And that's kind of creating the synergy between spirit and matter, or our higher selves and our human selves. I think through this card, they're trying to tell us to work with that kind of synergy, working on blending your higher and lower self. So do more meditation, more integrative work with spirit, basically. Very good, yeah. And I have, of course, the Starseed Oracle. I do this for all the full and new moon live streams. Being that we're all star seeds on one level or another. Maybe a few of you are new soul star seeds that have never been on Earth before. Well, thank you for your service. God bless you for those. I know I'm an old soul star seed. I know I've been thousands of years. It's funny when I started, like a second or third initiation process. My guide was saying, something. Basically, you're just learning things that you used to teach thousands of years ago. They're kind of saying it's like how things come full circle. Love to all. Thank you, Valerie. Love to all. Happy lunar eclipse. Yes, thank you, Yoda. Which one did we get? We got Earth School. Wow, we've been getting Earth School a lot too. We are in Earth School. I mean, hello, right? I'm going to do a second one. Life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. So be aware, be aware of, especially because this lunation is very intense. The energies are very intense and a lot's rising to the surface. So kind of be aware of the challenges of really life lessons, basically. and stuff like that. I want to pull another one. Let me go to the bottom of the deck. I will go straight to the bottom then. I'm hearing to go to the bottom of the deck. I'm going to do that. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the blue flame. Wow, I love the blue flame. Maybe that's part of the energy of this full moon. So I noticed a lot of people are coming and going. If you came in the middle, as soon as we end, you can catch what you missed in the beginning. We're going to do a channeling and a frequency channeling work to help to assimilate and to set in these new energies of this full moon, this full moon lunar eclipse is helping to catalyze, basically doing that Sunday's tarot time. Oh, if anybody wants to learn how to do mediumship, channeling, and which is also called trance mediumship and trance healing, we're going to have a very powerful, intensive weekend course here in the Catskills from April the 11th to the 13th. So that's a retreat. So there'll be information on the chat. So the blue flame is saying spontaneous awakening, activations, integration time. So through doing this work, through the integration, the shadow work, and all the spiritual work, the meditation, and the heart-brain coherence, because that's integrating the heart and mind to integrate more with spirit. Don't be surprised you have spontaneous awakenings around this full moon to maybe up to a few weeks afterwards. The energy, they say, carries 6 months, but we have an eclipse season every 6 months. Oh, this card just happens to be flipped open. I don't think I even did that. And this is the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So I think they're just reminding us to to sever that which we don't need anymore. Sometimes those people that we're tied to, situation we're tied to, or whatever, sometimes, because it's all about, we're all connected. We're all part of the same collective field, the same consciousness. So there's this thing called quantum entanglement. Basically, people might say, well, other people aren't going to affect me. Well, I say, bull, you know what, because there's an entanglement of energy that's happening. You can't help but to affect each other, right? So sometimes you have to sever those cords, cut those cords. I think that's a final message, which is why this card flipped up, because I missed that in the main part of this. I think Spirit's saying, cut the cords you need to cut. It doesn't mean that you're angry or you wish anybody harm. It just means that you're done. You've evolved in a different direction than whoever you're cutting cord with or whatever you're cutting cord with. So you can do with love, you can do with peace, but honor your peace and your sovereignty and know that you matter and you don't have to suffer at the hands of fools. I love that expression. Or be brought down by negativity. Some people have to work to make money and they have to be around toxic people. So put your shields up, golden circle of protection, work with the violet fire of Saint Germain. Mr. Floyd's channel can help you out with that, working with violet flame or violet fire. I mean, we can also, but check out Mr. Floyd's channeling channel also. And just, with love, sever those ties that we don't need anymore, basically. And work towards getting out of toxic situations. If it's a relationship, but there's a financial tie with that, well, and you can't do it now, well, we have to be practical. Spiritual warriors, we have to assess our playing field and use proper strategy. Sometimes proper strategy is staying in a situation that is unhealthy. If you're in that situation, then work with your tools to lessen the negative effects of that. And as soon as you're able, cut those ties, basically. It's a new earth, a new world, new energies, new beginnings. The old doesn't work anymore. Time to think outside the box. That's Uranus. That's the number 4. That's Uranus energy. They're speaking just on work, money, because we still need money. We're not in a fair trade society yet. Money is the fair trade in the society, and we need that. But understand, money exists in abundance. We're limited by our thinking, by our programming. It's a debt-based society. We're programmed from an early age to think in matter of debt, not in matter of abundance. I don't think it's an accident either, because it makes us more subservient to those powers that have everything. So you can break that cycle and that change just by learning to think outside the box and understanding, there's trillions of dollars out there. How am I going to tap into that abundance? And you'll find a way that's unique to you. That may be a business, it may be a different type of job, it may be whatever, but you'll ask spirit to help you out with that, because we need to cut ties with the negative. And on that note, if somebody's not reachable or teachable, don't try to teach them or don't try to reach them. You don't need that aggravation. So staying in your own lane, staying in the center of the storm, which is the heart frequency, that's the center of the storm. So everything can fall down around us, but we'll be in the calm if we're in the heart, basically. And because we're in the calm, we're in the heart, it's through the dynamics at the center of the storm that help to steer the storm, that help to. So anyway, point being is that if we can find that eye of the storm, that's where we can influence the storm. That's where we can influence the society. That's where we can have the most influence over our lives. So in any event, thanks, Spirit, for pointing my attention to this card, because that precipitated a really good and valuable message for us. You're welcome. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Suzette. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, and mine too. Programming is very, very deep. It takes a while. People need to be patient, and I get a lot of feedback, especially when I talk about law of attraction. I've been doing this for years. I've been doing that. I've been doing this, and my answer is, "Oh, sorry, but keep doing it." For some people, it takes lifetimes. I mean, hopefully, it'll just take a few months to maybe a year or two to manifest what you desire, but programming is so deep sometimes that we really have to keep doing it. It takes time to reprogram our mind, our energy fields, to create more of an abundance, more of a healthy energy, whatever. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Love you. I appreciate you guys also. And we will be doing more live streams. I have a busy month because I'm doing a 4-part course, so that's all my Thursdays that I can't do things on Thursdays for March, but we'll have more. We'll have a transmission again on Friday. Sure, I'll squeeze a live stream somewhere because events are just happening so fast. Either that or I'll make some more uploads that are more they're more what I was gonna say, more about current events rather than what we call on YouTube, I can't even remember the name, evergreen content that'll always be valid. Like if I do a video on the election, 6 months from now, nobody's going to watch it. Those elections are done anyway. I'm rambling. I love you. See you in the next video.